Hi, excuse me. Can I interview you for my YouTube channel?
What's your channel about?
It's about your feet and mental health.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah? I can interview you about that?
Sure.
All right, cool. Let's sit over here on the grass. Thank you. Okay, so I'm a foot photographer. So I teach other guys and other foot photographers how to get over anxiety by talking to women to see how you feel about your feet and how you feel about guys that like women's feet.
Is this going to be used as pornography anywhere?
Pornography?
Yeah.
On YouTube?
How, like, feet pics are with people.
On YouTube? No.
I'm just scared. You know, you gotta ask.
I'm curious to know why you would think that, and that's
because
where the mental health
there's
goes.
like a market for selling photos of your feet on OnlyFans.
Yeah, there is. Do you have OnlyFans?
No.
No?
No.
You ever thought about starting one? You have pretty feet.
No, not for that reason. I thought about starting a basketball talk show once, but yeah.
Basketball what?
Talk show.
On OnlyFans?
Yeah.
What's the angle with that?
Well, you don't have to be naked to make money.
Yeah, I know. But usually the people who get naked make the most money.
Yeah,
But anyway, let's
I'm
talk
not
about
looking to
feet.
make that much money.
Okay. Can I have you, let me see, the best lighting, have a seat like right here facing me. All right, let's do this while we still got some good lighting. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Let's go. All right, so how did we get to this moment just now?
I was walking here and you stopped me.
Right.
See if I would like to talk about this.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about feet and men's mental health.
Right. How do you feel about the subject matter?
I've never really conflated the two concepts. Today is the first moment that I've done so.
Okay. All right. So let me give you some background. Do you have a therapist?
I wish I did.
Okay. So
It's kind of hard to get into. It's kind of hard to get into some therapy these days.
Well, yeah, I guess so, because all the institutions are closed. But before the institutions closed, my therapist taught me DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. Are you familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like with someone who's suffering from anxiety, like a fear of approaching strangers, what I learned is that like DBT will advise you to go out and actually approach strangers and put yourself in that situation where you're going to feel uncomfortable. So you can do a self-assessment and ask yourself, okay, what's the worst that could happen in this situation? Is there a threat to my life or a threat to my safety? Does the fear that I feel or the anxiety feelings fit the facts of the situation? If not, then you apply what they call opposite action, and you act opposite to those anxious feelings, and you engage instead of withdraw, and then you anticipate a positive outcome. And after every event, you write down in your diary what happened. Was I mindful in the situation? Did I let go of my worries? Was it a pleasurable event? And all that. And you keep track of your progression and all that. So as it relates to feet, I have an attraction to women's feet, and many men have an attraction to women's feet. And so some men are fearful or hesitant to telling women that because they think they'll get a negative reaction. So my videos basically depict different perspectives and different perceptions from women. So I interview strangers to see how you feel about feet and how you feel about guys that like women's feet, so they can cope ahead and see the different behaviors.
Okay, well I have a question then.
Go for it.
So my question is this: you say they fear they may get a negative reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, what do they take from the information of that negative reaction?
What do they take?
My question to you initially was, is this going to be used for pornography?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a history of women's bodies being sliced apart and used for other people's purposes, be they as typefaces or other types of things.
Okay.
So when we move through society, we constantly keep that in the back of our minds. Like, every single interaction I have,
Mm-hmm.
I have to wonder, like, okay, is this guy going to try and take something from me?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what am I willing to give?
Okay.
So, I guess my question would be, like, do you just see it as a negative interaction and therefore you're not able to gain any information from it? Or
Do I see what as a negative interaction?
like you said, some men fear like women's reactions to the fact that they're
Yeah.
attracted to feet. And like, I can appreciate that,
Mm-hmm.
but do they understand where the negative emotions would be coming from? And is there an opportunity for mutual understanding? Or is it just like, okay, I've heard this negative thing, I'm going to retreat, I'm going to ghost this person, I'm not going to talk to them again? That's my question.
Okay, so in dealing with your first question, so the negative reaction would stem from the woman essentially feeling like she doesn't want to be used as a sexual object.
Potentially.
Okay, so what's the issue with a guy viewing you as a sexual object? That's the question the guy would ask. Like, because there are women out there who don't have a problem with that. Why is it a problem with you specifically?
Specifically for me, I mean, honestly, it should be my choice if I want to be objectified, but
Right.
that's just not the way that the world works.
Mm-hmm.
So, the issue is this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm a professional person, I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm out in the world, and my gear costs just as much as everybody else's. And my rent costs just as much as everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And I get out there, and I'm killing it at my gig, right? Just going off.
Yeah.
Someone comes up to me and they're like, hey, I really like your energy, I really like your vibe, can I get your business card?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, absolutely. So this guy hits me up, gives me the situation of the party, and I'm like, all right, great. This is my rate. It's the highest rate I've ever asked for because I understand the circumstances. And I'm like, all right, I could like value myself here in this situation. So I send out my rate. Fantastic, great, hired. Let's do this thing. By the way, what are you doing this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a date, I have a boyfriend, I have a situation, I don't want to go out with you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, never hear from them again.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we have created a culture wherein any given person could just choose to view you only as a sexual object because that is the currency within which our society speaks about women,
Mm-hmm.
then it really deprives me of an opportunity to make a living for myself. And that can be really exhausting when you're like almost 37 years old and almost not sexy anymore or like marketable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a constant fight against that economic phenomenon.
Yeah.
So I don't even get to enjoy the concept of being a sexual object, which I would love to be. Like, I'd love to be hot, you know? And
Mhm.
I'd love to, like, the idea of meeting someone and falling in love and having sex with them is great to me.
Yeah.
But the context of my life only has so much space for that, and it seeps into every corner.
Right.
That's why.
Okay, well, off the top of my head, I can just say that, men are going to be men. You can't change.
What defines a man? Where do you draw the line what a man and a woman is?
Well, I'm saying, like, if a man is sexually attracted to you and that's what he wants from you, he's going to let you know that.
That's very
Right.
true. But
Even if it's, the example you gave me, it seems like the person was trying to mix business and pleasure together. And, maybe he should have been more upfront. Like me, personally.
every interaction I have
Mhm.
runs the risk of being that way, though. That's the thing.
What do you mean? Runs the risk of being what?
Turning sexual.
Okay. What's wrong with that, though?
When I'm trying to make money, I don't want to fuck somebody.
Okay. Why not?
Because that's not my job.
Why not?
I don't want it to be my job.
Okay.
I change sex partners like once every 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
Seriously. Like, that's not my job. I'm a DJ.
Okay.
I'm not a, And I love the sex workers of the world so much.
Mhm.
I love them. I don't have the wherewithal or the fortitude, but like I'm so happy that this is the era that we're living in, where like women get to like choose the agency within which they get to be sexual.
Okay. So when I first approached you, you were saying, "Is this going to be sold as like pornography?" That was
Yeah.
the first thing that came to your mind.
Yeah, because it's not
Even
the
though I
first
said
time
it's gonna
heard
be
I
on
had good-looking
YouTube.
feet.
Okay. So how do you feel when a guy gives you a compliment about your feet?
I feel good when I get a compliment, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I appreciate it, and I'll tell you why. Because I just went through a year of having COVID.
Mhm.
I was so sick, I couldn't move for like a year.
Oh, really?
And I gained a lot of weight, and I was completely invisible. Completely. And it's the first time in my life that I felt that way. So I had a year of like total like, all right, this is it, man. This is what happens. You get old, and then you just like fall off. And then I got better.
Mhm.
And when I got better, I started exercising. I lost like 12 pounds. And now all of a sudden, I got a totally different face in the mirror. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like, you can unage yourself with like a little bit of effort. That's crazy, or at least like I'm still at that point in life.
Okay.
But I also know that it's just waiting around the corner. Like,
What is?
a lack of beauty in the mirror when you look.
Oh.
You know, age lurks.
Mhm.
Like at any given moment, you could not be beautiful anymore. So like now, when I hear some like old ass man in a good looking car down at the beach listening to some like Art LeBeau tunes telling me I'm beautiful, like I love it and I appreciate it.
Okay. So you appreciate compliments. All right. Well, how do you feel about a guy who's into feet in a manner like what he would have give you? Want to give you a foot massage, rub your feet, smell your feet, kiss your feet, lick your feet, and all those things.
I mean, if it's the right man, I like it. It's lovely.
Okay.
I like being touched, you know.
Okay, so you like being touched. Interesting. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, some women have had bad experiences with men in the past. Like I've interviewed women who've been like, traumatized,
Yes.
and that's why they have a certain, I guess, negative
Reaction.
reaction
Yeah.
to a guy wanting to
And
do
I
this
can
type
tell
of
you why
thing.
too. We got nowhere to put that shit.
Mhm.
You go through the trauma of your life. Mine was at age 5,
Mhm.
and that's when it kicks off. And then you got nothing to do with it except stuff it in the corners of your personality for the rest of your life.
Well, that's why you need therapy.
Duh, trust me, I know. I've been
Yeah.
trying to get therapy for so long,
Yeah.
and it is not easy.
Right. And a lot of people are untreated, and they carry this burden with them, and what's the point of doing that?
Hurt people hurt
What-
people. Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I've got through PTSD after carrying it for like 10 years,
Mhm.
and it still sneaks out at you. Like, you never know what's coming. And again, there's like nowhere to put it. You just kind of move through life trying to keep it away from like your average conversations with people in your day to day.
Mhm.
Or at least like not get into a situation where you're like, look, I got no other option except to react with like extreme fear because I haven't even had the opportunity to carve a healthy path out of it.
Yeah. How did you hear about DBT?
Oh, I've been to therapy before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just don't have a therapist right now.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm between.
Can we see your feet close up?
Sure. They got tan lines.
Yeah, I like your tan lines. You have very cute toes.
Thanks.
Let me see. Very cute. Can I touch your feet?
No, thank you.
No, why not?
I would want you to touch me
Why?
because I only want my man to touch me.
Okay. Very interesting. See, that sets you apart from different women. Some women don't have a problem being touched. You have a problem being touched.
Yeah, but I have a good ability to set boundaries for myself these days, which I appreciate about myself.
Okay.
Okay, I think
Very
I'm just
good.
about done.
You about done?
Yep.
You feel uncomfortable now?
I just gotta roll.
Okay. So wrapping things up, what do you think about this experience, this interview?
I think I'm in a really fucked up headspace in a really weird place, and you
Really?
caught me right at the moment where I wanted to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
So
think I would have put myself in this situation otherwise, but I appreciate you listening.
okay. All right. So was it a pleasant experience?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Was there anything about the interview that could have been better? You have any suggestions or
Yeah, you don't
critiques?
need to compare any woman to another woman ever. You
Right,
don't
because
need to
everyone's
tell them what's
different.
normal. Like you told me multiple times, you're different than other women in that regard. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're all different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Men
yeah.
and women exist on a crazy continuum. So I think that would be my feedback.
Okay. Your feedback, say again, would
Like
be
you
what?
don't need to compare women to other women. Or
Okay.
like contextualize their answers on the spectrum.
Mhm.
Like not necessary. In
Okay.
my opinion.
All right, cool. You have any parting words?
Take it easy on each other out there, man.
All
And
right.
also, always try to remember where someone else is coming from, and if they give you a negative reaction, do your best to contextualize it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much for your time and energy. Take care.